Sometimes our destiny and our future does not depend on us. Hi, I am Miriam. I am 25 years old. I live in Senegal, more precisely in Dakar. Before continuing my story, I invite you to subscribe, like, and above all, leave us comment. I come from a large family. I am the eldest of 10 children, including 6 girls and 4 boys. My parents were very poor. My father was a cobbler, and my mother was just a housewife. It could have been less painful for us. But with 10 children in their care, it was not at all easy. We lived in a very poor neighborhood where we lived with rats. Unsanitary conditions and promiscuity was the order of the day. The house we lived in was a very small house made of temporary materials. It was already tilted. We expected it to collapse any moment. The roof covering it was dotted with small holes. When it rained, we blocked the holes in order to prevent the ground from getting soaked. The situation became a bit more complicated when the rains got heavier and heavier. I shared the same room with all my siblings because the house only had 2 rooms. My father somehow managed to send us to school, but we spent more time at home because of the lack of money to pay school fees. I was in the final year and I was going to take my advanced level exam. Despite the conditions in which we lived, I was among the best students in the class. I worked hard because I wanted to lift my family out of poverty. One evening, an old friend of my father's came to the house to meet him. He was called Alhaji. He was a very rich man, extremely rich indeed. He was a businessman who owned several buildings and many companies in the country and even outside the country. Alhaji was a childhood friend of my father. They grew up together in a small village not far from Dakar and lost sight of each other. After several years of separation, finally found themselves. Alhaji was very surprised to see us living in his conditions. I would even say he felt pity. He nevertheless entered the house and talked for several hours with my father. At my mother's request, I brought them food and tea to drink from time to time. I noticed that Alhaji was staring at me a lot. It seemed a little strange to me. At some point, I heard him ask for some information about me. Before leaving that evening, Alhaji gave a huge sum of money to my mother so that she could cook. The weeks passed and Alhaji became more and more regular at home. In fact, he had somehow become our savior. He even had to pay my brother's school fees. And every time he came, he always brought me a present. At first, I didn't find any inconvenience since he was Dad's friend, but over time I come to understand that he had something in mind. One day, Alhaji came home with several pieces of loincloths. He handed them to me and said, "Miriam, know that you are already a woman. You must learn to dress appropriately. Take these pieces of loincloth and go to a tailor." "Thank you, uncle." "Don't call me uncle, call me Alhaji." I was surprised by this attitude. Why did he want me to call him by his name? He was still my father's friend. The next day, when I was getting ready to go to school, my parents made me sit down. My father spoke up and said, "Miriam, we called you your mother and me to make you understand that you no longer need to go to school. You don't need to study anymore. Your future and those of your brothers is now assured." "How?" "Alhaji wants you to be his wife." "Well, me? His wife?" "Yes, my daughter. From now on, we will be rich." I received this news like a blow to the head. How could my parents accept such a thing? I couldn't believe my ears. On a whim, I uttered a no with all my might. "Never. I don't want to marry Alhaji. He is much older to me. He may be my father. Daddy is your equal." "Shut your mouth," resumed my father. "You're going to marry him? Can't you see he's ready to take care of you and us?" Then my mother continued, "My daughter Alhaji has a lot of money. He is rich. Having him as a husband is a godsend for us. Think of your brothers and sisters." My mother's words broke my heart even more. I didn't want to hear about this marriage thing. But the more I looked at the situation in which we lived, the more my strength to fight fainted. What was I going to do with Roger? Roger had been my fiancé for 6 months already. He is a teacher. He was the one who helped me in my studies. My parents didn't know him, at least officially, like my fiancé. He had planned to come see them after my end-of-year exam to ask for my hand. Roger and I loved each other passionately. He was handsome, elegant, intelligent. He had his heart on his sleeve. He was very nice. I saw in Roger a friend, a brother, a support. In short, he was the person I could count on. Plus, he respected me as a woman. I started thinking about Roger and I felt bitterness in my heart. I couldn't believe what was happening to me. I found myself in a dilemma, torn between my happiness and that of my family. When evening fell, I ran to meet Roger to tell him about it. I arrived at his house very unhappy. As soon as he saw me, he knew immediately that something was wrong. "What is it, my love? What's wrong? You are quite pale. Are you sick?" "No, Roger. I am not sick. It's just not going well at home right now." "What's wrong?" "My father wants me to marry his friend." "What? But why?" "Because he has a lot of money. It's a way for me to help my family." "Who is this?" "Alhaji." "The fool! But he could be your father. It's terrible." "And what are you going to do? How about us?" I stood there, speechless, watching him. I didn't know what to answer him. I loved him deeply. I wanted to be his wife. I wanted to spend my life with him. But I refused to be selfish. I thought of my brothers, to all the times we slept hungry, every time the heads of our respective establishments put us out of the classroom, all the times we went to school without supplies. Those times our classmates made fun of us. I got up and resolved in my heart to accept this marriage. Yes, I made the resolution to sacrifice myself for my family. So I arose. I asked him not to see me again. Then I left his house with my eyes filled with tears and my heart bruised. I knew I was never going to be happy. Back at home, I went to see my mother to tell her of my decision. She was at the back of the house in the kitchen. At least it was a small space set up to cook. "Mom." "Yes, Miriam, I am listening to you. What's up, my daughter?" "Mom, I agree." "What do you agree to, Miriam?" "I will marry Alhaji." Contrary to what I thought, my mother did not show a feeling of joy. She looked at me for a moment. With a sad voice, she spoke again. "My daughter, I know that you made this decision because your father and I forced you. But know that I will suffer from this decision. I know you will never be happy. Alhaji has several wives, and you will certainly be the youngest. With your co-wives, it won't always be easy." I started to cry because in that moment I realized that I was going to live in a golden prison. A few weeks later, the wedding date was fixed and my family began the preparations. I received plenty of gifts from my future husband. I had everything I wanted. Before the wedding, Alhaji offered a new house to my parents. It was a beautiful villa located in an upscale neighborhood. He then opened a large loincloth shop for my father. In short, our financial situation had radically changed. On the wedding day, everything happened like in a fairy tale, but for the fact that the princess was not happy to get married. I received gifts of all kinds from my in-laws and my family as well. My father was the happiest man. I had never seen him show such joy. My mother, on the other hand, was getting sadder and sadder. It looked like she didn't want this marriage. Apparently, she couldn't help but comply with my father's decisions. I was sad that I hadn't married Roger, but I didn't mind the gifts I received from Alhaji either.